Okay, today starts out with camera in hand. Remember I told you about important parts not to pull the bell crank out. So the recap is we have a compression spar in here with the wire suspended up through the compression spar, through the sheeting, and the compression spar is glued to the 3/16 spar that runs all the way across. Well, after you get the fuselage squared and glued on, one of the most important parts to not pulling the bell crank out is this piece here. It's a 1/8" piece of aircraft plywood that goes on top of the wing. And we're going to epoxy that into the wing, and if you notice here, it's riding up against the fuselage side. Well, after that's done, we're going to put the blue light superfill putty inside the fuselage on the corner and outside. So this structure, after you've glued all these pieces on it, had become unitized. So as I said, you would have to pull the bell crank completely all the way through the wing, and the only way that it could give up is if the 1/8" piece of piano wire were to break, which I'm doubting, or the line snap. So that's an important piece. I do suggest that you never forget, never leave that out. That way the bell crank will not pull out. So I'm going to set the camera down and I'll be back. Okay, before I was talking about important parts like the plywood brace on top of the bell crank. Well, this is the second thing that we're going to do to the inside of the airplane to ensure that the wing is in there solid. And that's taking the superfill and mixing it up 2 to 1. That's 2 of the blue to 1 of the white. 2 to 1. And we're going to put a fillet inside the airplane. Inside. And over the top of that plywood spar. And you say, well, why are we putting a fillet inside? Well, what that does is it unitizes everything together. You want to, especially for a IC airplane, you want a good solid nose mounting. So I epoxied all this together. I got it lined up, got it epoxied together, and now the fillet comes inside. And when I get the fillet in, I'll go ahead and put the camera in hand and show you what that looks like. But until then, I'll cut the camera and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is the bottom side. You'll notice I got the superfill all around the fuselage and across the brace there. This brace is so important. I can't stress it enough. The spar and the brace up against the fuselage. It becomes unitized then. Sorry about the camera angles. It's hard to do when you're... Anyway, I'll go ahead and clean up some of the excess on this side, and we'll let that dry. But this is back to the time management. This is one of the things that's going to be drying the longest. So that's why we're doing this now. So I'll be back in a short. Here's a quick update on my progress. I'm not sure. I think this is day 21. Or it's either 20 or 21. I'm not sure. I'll have to look when I edit this video. The progress is rather slow right now because I know what I want this to look like. And I have to finish this section of the top block before I glue the floor on. So this is part of sequencing. I've been doping and sanding this area here, and today I'm hoping to get the red on it because this is underneath the canopy, and I want that red. It's terrible when you know what you want it to look like, and you have to do it this way. But I want that red to wrap around this and be red inside here, And there's a step inside here that I want black. Well, in order to do that, I have to finish this part in red first, glue the floor in, paint this black, then install my dashboard, the dashboard that I made like I told you, and then paint the floor and glue the floor in the bottom. Then this can all be glued on and taped off so we don't get any overspray or anything in there while we're working on it. And the last thing will be to glue the pilot in. It's just sequencing, and it's a rather slow thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and I'm going to sand this with another round of 500 grits. It's been tissued around here. And I'll sand this with a 500 grit sandpaper, another coat of clear dope, and put that aside. Then I'm going to take this off and I'm going to turn it over, and I got some foam, and I'm going to work on the cowling and get the cowling mounted up. And but I hollowed all these blocks real good. We got them thinned out so they're all the same peach color through the light. And that's about as best you're going to do. And then I want to talk about what gives this strength. Is before I glue this on, I'm going to mark where the bulkheads are in the fuselage, and I'm going to take 16th and sand a mark them on this, and then sand a bulkhead and set them, vertical this way, so that when I glue this all together, I can glue that to the bulkhead that's existing in the fuselage. And we'll do the same on the bottom block. That way, it acts as a monocoque type structure, and that will give you a whole lot more torsional rigidity than if you just had the formers in there and nothing on the top here. So it acts as a big arc or oval like that. It's coming out really nice. I really like this airplane. Like I say, it should be ready for the September contest. Here tomorrow, I'm going to have to stop progress on this completely and go back to detailing my Continental, get it ready for appearance judging. There's still a few touch-ups to do and get it waxed and ready to go, because I'll be flying that this year. I like my electric program, but I still have some things to sort out with it, and I've been flying the Continental 7 years, and it just flies real well. I really like it, so that's what we're going to do. I'm hoping that this airplane performs as well. I'm a little concerned about using the Super Tiger 60 instead of the PA-75, but we'll see how it operates. If I remember correctly, in the 90s when I was flying Super Tigers, they seemed to perform, pretty well. Jimmy Cassell did well with them. So I think it'll be all right. I'm not sure much really matters on what power you got. I think it's more, practice and how well you do. The wind is a factor, but I'm not sure that the electric's the way to go in the wind, because my PA-75's got more drive in the wind than the electric airplane. So anyway, I'm going to post this today. There probably won't be any videos till after the Nats on this project. Now I am going to be filming flights, interviews, the pilot's meeting. It'll probably be more extensive than Brodak's for the Nats coverage, because I really want to get the feeling of what's going on at the Nats out to everybody. And I have my small camera, and I might just take a picture of my flight from the handle view to see how it looks at the Nats. So we'll see in a few days, or actually a week, when I come back from the Nats, but I will be posting Nat's videos. Hopefully we got a new place to stay. I'm hoping that Super 8 has a has a better internet connection than Lee's Inn did, but that's soon to be seen. So until I see you at the Nats, tight lines.